Okay, the Rams are going to draft a quarterback. I would put all of my money down on it. I mean, if you think for a second that the Rams aren't going to draft a quarterback in any of the 7 rounds, you're not paying attention. Sean McVay just came out earlier, in case you didn't see this, and he basically made it clear that he's going to be around for a while. That decision was to avoid the every year is he going to retire or not conversation that we keep having. And it does tell me that this is why they're going in the direction they're going in, because Sean McVay no longer wants to keep doing this, right? He doesn't want to keep, just going all in, trading picks, the whole F them picks mantra that got him a ring, that got him momentum. Last year fell apart, so it kind of hurt their overall look into 2023. So I think they're getting started earlier than they intended, but I guess this was the intention all along to eventually do this, and they're doing it a year early because of the season that they had. Now, I may disagree with that, but let's just talk about what's going on. If Sean McVay is staying for the long haul and he's trying to build a team with sustained success, okay, he is not going to bypass drafting a quarterback in this draft. There is no chance about it. He's 100% going to be drafting a quarterback. And is that going to be Hendon Hooker? Is that going to be Aiden O'Connell, Jake Hayner, Max Duggan? Or is that going to be a little bit bigger? And my thing here is that I don't think you can rule the Rams out of going up the rungs and getting one of the top, quarterbacks in this draft. And I know what you're thinking. Jake, they don't have a first-round pick. Well, they do have Jalen Ramsey, who I personally would not trade, but I've come to the understanding and just the realization that he's going to be traded. If he is traded, like I 100% believe he's going to be and what I've been told he's going to be, if he is traded, they're going to get a first-round pick in all likelihood. And if that's the case, that's a baseline to move up and get your guy. There's talk from yesterday about Matt, the whole Matt Lombardi thing, on Pat McAfee saying, they're trying to move Stafford and all of that. Next year, his deal becomes somewhat more movable. Now, I'm not saying I would do this, but if that's what they're interested in doing and kind of starting anew, then I could see them going into this year with Stafford and the rookie quarterback and then having the rookie quarterback take over next year. And there is not a better fit in this draft, in my opinion. When you're remodeling, you're changing up what you're doing. There's going to be a different offensive approach. There's never been a better fit than now to go out and get Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Now, Anthony Richardson has been falsely labeled a super raw project. That is not what he is. This is a guy that I think could start in the NFL day one because I think NFL coaching is going to be a breath of fresh air for him. I do not think he had the right coaching at Florida. Brian Johnson left and went to the Eagles, and he didn't have him. He didn't have a ton of weapons. He lost Dameon Pierce, to the draft. The offensive line wasn't great. So here's my thing. Anthony Richardson, I am not falling in love with just because of the testing numbers. If you've been following the channel, then you know I'm a fan of his, going back to the fact that I did those videos, the 1 minute scouting report. I did a 1 minute scouting report on him. I had him graded higher than CJ Stroud. I had him as the second quarterback in the draft, but I said, while Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this draft, I said CJ Stroud has the not CJ Stroud. Anthony Richardson has the highest ceiling, and I believe that. And I've gone on multiple podcasts, I've gone on my own shows, and I've said repeatedly, Anthony Richardson, if he hits his ceiling, will be the best quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. Okay, that's a real thing. Now, there are people that love Caleb Williams, and I myself am a big fan of his. I am a USC fan, right? So I like Caleb Williams a lot. And he makes some throws that I've only seen a select few of quarterbacks make, and he's making that, and he still has another year of college eligibility. But here's the thing, okay? You can't just bank on him being available in 2024, because if he's as good as we're saying, he is not going to be available. Whoever is picking number 1 is going to probably select him and not want to trade that pick away. If he's as good as we believe, I don't see that team trading that pick away. And the Rams are not going to be picking number 1 overall. I'm sorry. The Rams are not tanking. That's not what they're doing. So they're not going to be doing that. But Anthony Richardson becomes very, very intriguing because he has a similar skill set. He's very similar to Patrick Mahomes in the way he plays. And if you're looking to kind of, remodel, not reinvent the wheel, but remodel and change up your approach, you still have Stafford, you still have Kupp, you still have, Cam Akers. You're going to have to go through a little bit of a change going into 2024. You'll have more cap. We'll see what ends up happening with Stafford. But my thing here is that if Anthony Richardson sits a year behind Stafford and then say Stafford either retires after the season or he wants to be traded to a contender or whatever, now all of a sudden Richardson can just go right in there. And the guys he's going to be working with, Sean McVay, Mike LaFleur, and Zach Robinson. So I like the guys that are going to be around him if they were to make this move. I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm saying that we can't rule anything out here. And I think Anthony Richardson makes the most sense for this team because it's bringing you pretty much more into the modern era of quarterbacking. He's not just a running quarterback. And if you haven't watched his film, don't look up his highlights. Watch his actual film. He's not as raw as you would think. I was told this guy is raw as hell. He's JaMarcus Russell 2.0. And I don't see that. Because guys that are raw don't layer over the linebackers. They don't have layered throws. They don't have multiple speeds on their pitches. They don't have the pocket presence. They don't step up. They don't just keep their eyes up. The thing that I find that a lot of young quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, and college quarterbacks make, the big issue with them when they run is that they drop their eyes. And at that point, you are a runner and you can't really get back into the play because you can't, drop your eyes, pick them back up, and make reads. It's way harder. You have seconds at the quarterback position before you are about to get decked by somebody who's coming off the edge that's around 250 to 70 pounds. And the thing with Anthony Richardson, he has a 10 RAS score, okay? He ran a 4.4. He had the best vertical. This was before the testing, guys. I've been a fan of his since I started watching the tape, and I finished all the quarterbacks. He came in second with the highest overall ceiling. Richardson on the Rams would be amazing. It really would. Now, would you play him this year? Probably not, because you have Stafford. But, guys, the wheels have been up for 2024. This is what we've been talking about. Whether you agree with it, and I certainly don't love this direction, but whether you agree with it or not, Sean McVay, Les Snead, and the Rams have eyes on 2024 and beyond. 2023, do you know what they think they can do? I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but they're thinking that they can build up the offense and sign some cheap veterans, athletic veterans, draft some picks, and that's how you build your defense out. Fill it out with veterans that want playing time, that are athletic, that can fit into the scheme. Coach them up. They have a good coaching staff. That's what they're hoping. Don't just take my word for it. Jordan Rodriguez, excellent reporter, she's put that out in writing. Sources around her are telling her that that's kind of the direction they're going in. They're focusing on the offense. They want to stay competitive while they remodel. They're going to trade Jalen Ramsey. They're going to get rid of Leonard Floyd. They're going to get those big contracts off the books. And it's going to lead to more cap space in 2024, but probably not a lot in 2023. So you can expect a lot of cheaper players here, But in addition to that, you can expect them to also, need to hit in the draft and everything. And I understand people would push back and say, Jake, why would they draft a quarterback? They have Matthew Stafford. If you're going to draft a quarterback, you would draft not in the first, but you draft like a Hendon Hooker. I'm not against that at all. As a matter of fact, Hendon Hooker would be number 2 on my list. After, of course, the big 3, which is Richardson, Young, and Stroud. My concern with Stroud is if he was there and the Rams did trade up for him, he's not built for the next level, in my opinion, of NFL quarterbacks. He's built for the next level, of course. He's going to be, he's the best pocket passer in this draft. But if the Rams are looking to modernize their quarterback position and have more of a mobile quarterback, because if anything, after this past year with the offensive line, I think they're probably going to consider and prioritize mobility more. So with that said, if Bryce Young is there, I'm absolutely taking Bryce Young. Doesn't have to be Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson makes the most sense because, this is the guy with the highest ceiling. You can sit him. Everything's good there. Bryce Young could start right away. So, and again, I'm not saying the Rams are going to do this. But I guess where I'm at is if Sean McVay is all about the future, and there are people saying tank for Caleb Williams. How about this? How about don't tank for Caleb Williams? Go out and get your guy in this draft, and don't be afraid to trade away that 2024 first-round pick as long as you are acquiring a first-round quarterback, a franchise quarterback, a guy that you're going to build your foundation around. Right now, Sean McVay is trying to build a foundation for sustained success. They won a Super Bowl with a model that is going to work for as long as you want to keep playing that game, but eventually it will bite you. It does bite back, and we're seeing that. So that's my thing. Right now, my thought process is I want to see Sean McVay and the LA Rams, Les Snead, get together. They trade Ramsey. I don't want to see them trade Ramsey, but again, I've already accepted it. They trade Jalen Ramsey. They get that first-round pick, and then they do whatever they can to get up and get their quarterback in the future. If they believe in them. If they're looking at Richardson, Young, Stroud, and they're like, I think we'll wait till next year. Fine by me. If they don't find that, their guys in this draft, okay. But out of the big 3, if they like all 3, or if they prefer Richardson, you go and you get your guy. And you let Sean McVay do the rest. Because I have no doubt in my mind, whoever they draft, Sean McVay can develop. The whole team can develop. Then they could turn him into a star. And that's the thing there. So that's where I'm at right now. Again, I don't love this approach. I wouldn't have minded, milking another year with the F them pick strategy. Not even that, but just restructuring, trying to sign some guys. But this is where we're at. And I won't go on record saying that the Rams are going to be bad this year because I don't necessarily think they are. I think they're going to be bad in certain areas. They may not stop the run well. They may struggle in coverage. But if they focus on the pass rush, if they focus on the offensive line and they build up their offense, a dominant offense that scores 30 a game can just about win any game. So I think that's really what they're trying to do. They're just trying to outscore everyone. They're trying to make this an offensive-minded team. And while they reposition and repurpose all of their assets towards the offense, they're going to try to fill out a defense with hard-nosed, athletic veterans, cheap veterans, and rookies and young second-year and third-year players, draft picks. Fill out the defense there. Focus on the offense. I think it'll be interesting. We'll certainly see what ends up happening. But in my opinion, if you're going this route, you got to go all out for the quarterback. To me, if Hendon Hooker is your guy, then Hendon Hooker's your guy. But if your guy is in the first round, look at how many first round Look how many first-round quarterbacks there are in this league. Look at the top guys in the AFC. Burrow, first overall. Herbert, first-round pick. Tua Tagovailoa, first-round pick. Regardless of how you feel about him, first-round pick. Right? So you got those guys. Patrick Mahomes, first-round pick. Lamar Jackson, if he stays, first-round pick. Aaron Rodgers, if he goes to the Jets, first-round pick. Josh Allen, first-round pick. Mac Jones, first-round pick. There are first-round picks all over the place. Kenny Pickett's a first-round pick. Deshaun Watson, first-round pick. So that's the direction we're going in. Trevor Lawrence. I could go on. The Rams are going to have a real internal discussion about what they're doing at quarterback. And they either believe in Stafford or this is honestly for show. He has about a year left and they're going to try to either say, look, you can retire and retire a Ram, or we can send you somewhere else. But, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm not saying that they're getting rid of Stafford this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of him next year or 2 years from now. And if that's the case, having Anthony Richardson behind him makes a lot of sense. Anthony Richardson being a first-round quarterback would grant you the fifth-year option. So flexibility there. The Rams could definitely do a lot. But that's where I see it. If they don't go that direction, Hendon Hooker, Jaron Hall, they make the most sense to me. In the on day 2, late day 2 probably. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. This has been another Jake Raw, and I'm just curious what you guys think. I know a lot of you are hung up on Caleb Williams, but just try to understand it's not likely that he's going to be a Ram. It's actually very unlikely the Rams are going to be bad enough to pick him. So just keep that in mind. But that's going to do it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks.